and welcome to Free to Disagree's Communal Sense podcast. My name is Amanda MacDonald, and today I am here with Larry Young, an amateur policy analyst here at UCCS, and again with Ray Reyes, the president of the College Republicans, also at UCCS. And today we're going to go over the Democratic debate, primarily the second one. We saw that one had most of the flavor in it, so we're going to get into that and kind of go over what we liked, what we didn't like, and what we think is going to happen into the future. It's on you.
All right, Larry, start us off.
All right, well, thank you for having me here today. I'm delighted to discuss this debate. As to you, would like to begin by finding out what your initial impressions of the debate were.
My initial impressions of the debate. Well, it's debate. It's a primary presidential debate, Democratic. Honestly, with these debates, I tend to not take them too seriously, though I should take them more seriously. I just don't like the idea of them focusing on messages rather than actual substance in any topic that they do present. However, it does at least give you perspective as who the front runners are and how the front runners even portray themselves at the beginning, and it actually gives you a little roundabout estimate as to who we actually believe or think will beat out who and come out on top. What are your first impressions? What do you think? What did you think of the second?
I certainly agree with you in terms of the format of the debate. That the debate is not a real debate, at least in that sense, because of again how candidates are basically presenting their pitches. Bernie Sanders in particular.
Well, he's never going to change his pitch.
He just did the same for almost every response that he gave. But as regards to how the candidates within the debate conducted themselves, I do agree with the consensus that Harris probably got the most benefit from the debate, that she derived the most benefit from it. I also agree with the consensus as well that Biden certainly didn't have a great time.
No.
And I think that some of the other candidates did pretty decently well. Benedict Hickenlooper, in my opinion, I think comported themselves well. Buttigieg did okay also, and some of them were thoroughly unimpressive, such as Swalwell, Williamson, Yang. They didn't really come across as much as they could have, and of course, in the instance of some of them, they're unqualified, so they really couldn't have done much more.
I think Yang, as far as ideas, he's got the freshest ideas. He's got the best idea. Well, as far as the pool. And ideas that we, or at least I feel, are more beneficial to Americans. And I think Andrew Yang definitely has those ideas. However, I will believe he didn't present himself very well. But we said before, he's not presidential material. He's not a politician. He's a businessman. So he's going to present himself that way because that's all he knows. So I think that's going to be one of his weaknesses is even trying to get the word out on him, even being taken seriously as a politician.
Well, he's probably not going to have much more of an opportunity anyhow.
Not on the debate stage.
No, because the next round of debates are going to be restricted to candidates who are polling higher in the primary. And so that's going to probably be the top 5 or top 10. People like Yang, who are near the bottom of the field, are going to drop off.
All right.
So moving on, as regards to what you liked and disliked about the debate, was there anything that stood out from that?
Well, from what as far as I liked how they pressed on Bernie Sanders' ideas in 2016. He came up with the same pitch, same rhetoric, same message. I do like how you pointed out as well while we're watching it that Hickenlooper pushed back on his socialist ideas.
It was Bennett.
Was it Bennett?
Medicare for
was
all.
One of them too. Oh, that's right.
It was Hickenlooper who said that the Democrats should take care not to allow themselves to be defined as a socialist party.
I think that again, that's the part I like is how they pushed back on at least trying to pull the Democratic Party back away from veering that route. So I did like that. I did like how Kamala Harris presented herself as far as being very stern, being very passionate, being very genuine sounding at least, and how I think she's going to force Biden to take this debate seriously because I do have the perception that Biden's going into these primaries as Hillary Clinton went into the general, where she believed she had the assumption that she was going to win. And I think Biden went into these first debates with that same mentality as you saw, where he was very reluctant to even say anything, very reluctant to raise his hands. So I think Kamala Harris is going to press him, and we'll see what happens from there. It's going to be interesting.
I certainly agree with that. Biden, of course, this is his third presidential bid, and of course, it's his last opportunity. He ran twice before, in 1988 and 2008, and if he doesn't get it this time, he's not going to get it. And of course, thus far, he's had a pretty substantial lead in the polls, around the mid-30s as of the most recent. It's dropped because of his this first debate. But he definitely has that mentality that because he was Obama's vice president, that he's effectively entitled to the nomination.
And rightfully so. That's
vice president, right? That is why he's in the lead. But given what happened with Hillary Clinton, it's not the wisest course of action. Also with Jeb Bush, it's not the wisest course of action. Yes. As regards to what I liked about and disliked about the debate, again, I liked what Bennett and Hickenlooper had to say. Even though they have no chance, I think that they brought some sort of moderation onto the debate stage. I did think that each of the candidates, they did have some things or said some things. For example, Buttigieg, when he was talking about the necessity for domestic competitiveness, said some things that I agreed with. And I think that this second debate was handled much better than the first one was. So the first one was derailed by O'Rourke going into Spanish and English, one of his responses.
Corey competing with
right, Booker,
Castro,
all of that detracted from the first debate. As regards to what I disliked about the debate, I disliked the fact that even though Williamson and Yang do not have a chance, Yang in particular was denied the opportunity to speak more. They focused most of the attention on the major contenders. They gave the contenders the opportunity to run over their time, and I think that was detrimental overall. I also disliked at one point some of the policies that they seem to be on board with, which I fear may not translate well into the general electorate. So, for example, when they all raised their hands saying that they would support, insurance or health care.
Yeah, I think they all raised their hands except for Biden as well for who would provide health care for illegal immigrants.
Yes,
that's another one.
And Biden did raise his hand, but it was
very slowly.
And one of the moderators, I think it was Chuck Todd or Lester Holt.
Yeah, question him on that or ask him about it whether he did or not.
Right.
So, and Biden goes, "Yeah, I did raise my hand."
Yes.
One of the things I'm interested in seeing is as far as going exposure goes. We're talking about whether Yang or Williamson will even have the exposure at the the popular debates or at least the national TV debates. I'm wondering, however, what the viewership is like between actual debates on national TV versus alternative media like Joe Rogan, Dave Rubin, Ben Shapiro, and the likes of those. What the viewership is compared to those. Dave Rubin and Ben Shapiro and Joe Rogan have quite a viewer following, so I wonder what that difference is, who gets more views.
I do wonder as well, even though traditionally, this is still true now, that the networks, particularly the broadcast networks, still pull in more viewers. For example, their evening news broadcasts, they pull in more viewers than these online channels do, because, for example, one YouTube channel might have 2 million subscribers, and NBC Nightly News or NBC Broadcasting, it might be able to get 5 million or 10 million. So there's still that. But it'd be interesting to see moving forward. As regards to who do you think won the debate?
As far as one, like I said at the beginning, I don't think these are really debates, but as far as who presented themselves well, who came out as more prominent, I would go with Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
She came out with more substance, even though a lot of her, of course, she's a politician, career politician, and not necessarily a career politician, but she's been around the area and she's been a prosecutor before, so she knows how to speak. So she came out as very genuine sounding, very passionate, very understanding, very someone that people can connect with, and she sounded like very concerned, and I believe she pushed back on Joe Biden, rightfully so, on his previous policies in the past and what he's done. So I think Kamala Harris is going to be somebody to look at, and I think she's going to be very, very interesting to see. I think she's got the best shot, other than Joe Biden right now, based on popularity-wise anyway, to get the nod and the nomination.
And I certainly agree that Harris won the debate, and I indicated at the beginning that I think she came out in the best position. I think Biden was certainly undermined by it, and unless if he improves his quote-unquote game, in future debates, he's not going to he's going to flag. It may give Harris an opening, such as the openings that Obama and Trump had in their respective runs, to move past them and get the nomination.
Yeah.
As regards to predictions, who do you think is the best candidate, or the candidate who's in the best position of potentially winning the presidency if they get the nomination?
Or at least who's got the better chance to challenge Trump. I don't think any of them right now, just speaking right now, has a shot to beat Trump per se, because that's what the Democrats have to do. They have to win. Democrats have to win. Trump doesn't necessarily have to win. It's essentially what he did in 2016. Right. It was just Hillary Clinton looking really bad for a lot.
Right.
So certainly, if the left this time around can at least gain some ground and gain some momentum and not shoot themselves in the foot, they might have a better chance than they did in 2016. But right now, I think Kamala Harris would be the best shot if they can somehow bring those numbers down dramatically for Joe Biden in the primaries. So yeah, I would go with Kamala Harris. She knows how to stand on her own 2 feet. She's not one to back down from Trump. I don't see her backing down from Trump. She's been a prosecutor before. We know how they are. They're very tenacious, super smart. She's an intelligent woman, and she's very witty as well. As she came out with that one-liner with this debate where she goes, the people don't want to see a food fight. They want to know how they're going to provide food on the table or put food on the table. So I think she's got those one-liners that actually make sense, just like Trump's back and forth.
I certainly agree. Well, particularly at a debate between her and Trump, you know how the look that she had on her face.
Oh yeah,
while Sanders was going on, and some of the other candidates, she's going to do the same thing when she's facing Trump, and it's just going to continue forward and not let him phase her. Hillary Clinton, of course, as we know, tried to do that. But of course, it didn't really succeed as much.
She didn't have the tenacity as Kamala Harris.
And Harris, I think, will pull it off better. So Harris, I think, will have the appeal to minority voters. That's obvious in a way. She's, of course, actively trying to court that group. And she'll also have the appeal to the suburban voters as well, who I think Democrats will continue to improve with, and who will help them flip back the states that they lost and help them win the presidency.
Yeah, I agree, and I think Kamala Harris is also pretty smart with how she approaches policy and her ideas. I think we mentioned this before, is how she was saying with the executive order and stuff, how she put forth everything as executive orders. Like, she's going to do an executive order this because she knows how the government works. It's going to be at least some major pushback and probably start with the courts if she even tries any of those policies. Hence why she presented those as executive orders. That way she at least knows, or sounds like she knows what she's talking about, rather than promising things she knows she doesn't have the ability to promise right now.
Well, certainly. I certainly do agree with that. Well, at any rate, I think that was everything.
That was most of it.
Again, I believe so. Yes, and I think we had a very productive conversation, and I look forward to seeing what else the Democratic primary has to bring for us.
Likewise. Thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome.